Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Chembiosis. Friends, as you know that basically there are three types of tests to detect novel coronavirus. These tests are antigen test, antibody test and RT-PCR test. I have made a detailed video explaining about the antigen test. If you are interested, then you can watch my earlier video on this antigen test by simply clicking the above link. In this video, I am going to discuss about the RT-PCR test. This RT-PCR test is the most reliable one among the three tests to detect the coronavirus. So how this RT-PCR test has been performed, what are the information that can be obtained from this test, and what are the advantages as well as disadvantages, all these aspects will be covered in this video. So friends, this is going to be a very informative as well as interesting video. So don't skip this video and watch till the end. In this RT-PCR test, the sample is being collected by inserting a cotton bud deep inside the nose. This process is called nasopharyngeal swab. Sometimes saliva sample is also collected. In this test, generally we detect viral RNA. The full form of this RT-PCR is reverse transcript polymerase chain reaction. So friends, let's understand how this RT-PCR test actually works. In this test, a special process is being used to separate out all the RNAs present in the sample specimen. It is very difficult to quantify RNA. However, it is much more easy to multiply and detect DNA specimen. This process of multiplication of DNA is called polymerase chain reaction or PCR. This PCR process does not work on RNA. So before the test, all the viral RNAs were converted into DNA using a special type of enzyme known as reverse transcriptase. Enzyme is a special chemical which is spontaneously produced inside the living cell. This enzyme helps to increase the rate of any specific chemical reaction. However, after completion of the chemical reaction, the structure of the enzyme remains unchanged. So by the virtue of reverse transcriptase enzyme, all the RNA present in the sample specimen has been converted into DNA, and these DNAs are called complementary DNA or cDNA. The sequence of the nitrogen bases present in this DNA is complementary to the sequence of the parent RNA. That's why it is called complementary DNA or cDNA. It is important to note that by the help of the reverse transcriptase enzyme, all the RNAs present in the sample specimen are converted into DNA. So among all these RNAs, only few of them are from the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Some RNAs are coming from other bacteria or viruses. Some RNAs are coming even from the cells of the patients. So the problem is to identify and separate out only the viral RNA out of all the RNAs present in the sample specimen. For this, we use a method called PCR. The full form of PCR is polymerase chain reaction. By using this PCR technique, we can multiply the number of DNAs which are coming from the viral RNA so that we could easily detect them. This RT-PCR test consists of three basic steps which are repeating in cyclic manner up to 35 to 40 times. First step is called denaturation, where the double helical structure is broken into two pieces. Second step is called annealing. In this step, two primers are used. These primers attached with the helical structure of the cDNA which originates from the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Primers are basically a small portion of the nucleotide. The sequence of nitrogen base in this nucleotide is complementary to that of viral cDNA. Friends, you can understand this concept of complementary sequence from this picture. You can see that this picture contains the sequence of some nitrogen bases. There are basically four types of nitrogen bases present in a nucleotide chain. These nitrogen bases are adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosine. these nitrogen bases are abbreviated as A, G, T and C respectively. So the complementary base of adenine or A is T or thymine. Similarly, the complementary base of guanine or G is C or cytosine. So basically A can only make bond with T and G with C. So that's why the two sequence as you are seeing in this picture is complementary to each other, where A can make bond with T and G can make bond with C. Okay, so I hope that now you have some idea about this complementary sequence. So basically these primers are some broken parts of nucleotide whose sequence is complementary to the sequence of viral cDNA. That's why these primers join with the viral cDNA only, not with any other cDNA. The third step is called elongation, where an enzyme is being used which is named as polymerase. This enzyme adds nucleotide to the side where the primer is being attached. This polymerase enzyme uses the original DNA strand as a template to complete this elongation step. So friends, as you can see that after the completion of the elongation step, we get two double-stranded cDNA from one cDNA. So these three steps, denaturation, annealing and elongation, keeps repeating in a cyclic manner, and in each cycle the number of cDNA gets doubled. So if this process started with a single piece of cDNA, after completion of 35 cycles, it would generate more than 34 billions of cDNA molecules. During the PCR process, a fluorescence probe is being added, which would emit fluorescence radiation each time when new cDNA molecule is being produced. So with time, as the number of cDNA molecule increases, the intensity of the fluorescence radiation will also increase, and we would get a graph like this. When the intensity of this fluorescence radiation exceeds some threshold value, then we can be sure that the signal that is coming from the sample is much more than background signal. There is a term which is used while reporting the result of RT-PCR test, which is known as CT value or cycle threshold value. The number of cycles necessary to exceed the fluorescence signal above the threshold value is known as CT value. Low CT value indicates the presence of high number of viral RNA in the original sample. If the number of viral RNA is more in the sample, then it will need less number of cycles to produce more number of cDNA. So the threshold value will be reached within few number of cycles. Lower CT value in the patient's RT-PCR reports indicates that the viral load in his or her sample is very high. For SARS-CoV-2, if the CT value of a patient sample is lower than 40, then the patient is considered as COVID positive. So during RT-PCR test, it is very important to know the CT value. From this CT value, one can have an idea of viral load in his or her body. From one research, it is proven that the patients having lower CT value has higher chance to have severe diseases. So one has CT value 10 and another person having CT value 30, then we can say that the viral load for the person having CT value 10 is more than 10 lakhs than that person who is having CT value 30. Friends, there is another important question, that is how much time it will take to complete one RT-PCR test. The answer is 3 to 5 hours in average, and this time period also includes the process of RNA extraction. However, this time is dependent on the amount of automated techniques used in that lab. Another very important question is how accurate the RT-PCR test is. Friends, in my previous video, I told that one of the drawbacks of antigen test is getting too many false negative. However, in RT-PCR test, the chance of getting false negative is very low. That's why this test is considered to be the most reliable test for COVID-19. So friends, if you do like this video, then please give one like and subscribe the channel Chembiosis, where I upload videos on many interesting scientific stuffs. Don't forget to press the bell icon also, so you will get immediate notification whenever I will release a new video. So I will see you in my next video. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye bye.